Since the beginning of humanity, people have taken advantage of any opportunity to gain an edge over others. This is clearly seen in the advancement of weaponry throughout the centuries, but also in disciplines that should be realms of equality and fair play. Since time immemorial, cheating and doping have existed as ways to gain unfair advantages in purely sporting disciplines. And of course, with the advent of competitive video games, they were not exempt. The use of hacks, cheats, and scripts is as old as video games themselves. The companies responsible for these games have always engaged in an endless battle against hackers, who always find ways to stay one step ahead. But just as this changed the rules of warfare, taking it to another dimension, this now threatens to do the same in competitive gaming. New advances in AI affect virtually every field of humanity, both for good, increasing productivity and automating mundane tasks, and for ill, aiding cybercriminals and scammers. I'm already tired of seeing the fake Elon Musk selling cryptocurrencies, and the real one too. If scams by criminals pretending to be relatives of the victim were already working, imagine when they can replicate their voice and even create increasingly better videos with deepfakes. But back to the topic, in the case of cheating in online games, AI also has its direct application. Until now, cheats were based on giving unfair advantages to the cheater. Some quite obvious like auto-aim or global damage, but others not so much like wall hacks or auto-dodge. But what will happen when the cheat is AIs that play so well imitating a person that it's impossible to tell them apart? I'm talking about mimicking both the good and the bad, but in a completely controlled way, making it superior to humans, but only slightly to avoid suspicion. Do you think this isn't possible? Artificial intelligence, starting from absolute scratch, learns much slower than us. But it has a trick: time dilation. This is where reinforcement learning comes in. In 2019, OpenAI 5 demonstrated that AIs are superior to humans. This team of 5 AI agents managed to defeat the world champions of data thanks to reinforcement learning, where in just a few weeks of real time, they trained for the equivalent of 180 years, becoming the ultimate experts in the game. No matter what game it is, while a human can only play one game at a time. Unless you're Faker, AIs with enough processing power can play hundreds of thousands of simultaneous games, learning from all of them at once. This will bring them much closer to perfection much faster, and in the end, there isn't a human who can compete against them. But then it would be too obvious that they're AIs. They have to make mistakes and be plausible. Bruh. And if playing against each other gets them too close to perfection, they need to learn from something more imperfect. From you. If playing for 180 years makes them better than world champions, learning from millions of real matches with people from a certain division will make them play like people in that elo. So, if you want an AI to climb division after division without attracting attention, you just have to put an AI trained with silver matches to play in bronze, with gold matches to play in silver, with platinum matches to play in gold, and so on until reaching the maximum ladder where it can learn from other AIs trained at this highest human level, to be slightly superior to them consistently without attracting attention. And what can companies do to prevent AIs from taking over their games? Companies like Valve, known mainly for. Although they also have other minor things, like...
What's your problem, Grim? What is your problem? Missile alone ramp. Missile alone ramp.
Have decided to fight fire with fire. They have developed in their VSE anti-cheat system an AI capable of judging and detecting whether the suspected cheater is using hacks or AIs to play. Of course, this is a constant cat and mouse game because as AIs continue to improve, they will eventually become indistinguishable, even to other AIs, from human behavior. And then there are other companies like MiHoYo. You might know them as the creators of the ultimate Chinese waifu slots. Or Riot Games, known for being the creators of the new form of modern slavery, among many other problems. As I showed in the video, Wonder One Problems of League of Legends. have included kernel-level anti-cheat systems in their games, which gives them complete control over everything that happens on the PC and its files from the moment it turns on until it turns off. Something that completely violates the privacy of their users and exposes them to a multitude of serious risks, as well as reducing the performance of their PCs, as I explained in detail in the video, League of Legends installs spyware on you. But in practice, this should prevent any possibility of hacking or cheating, right? Well, not at all. There are still hacks that bypass these security systems despite how ultra-invasive they are. But let's suppose that these maximum and absolute control anti-cheats manage to perfect themselves to not only have access to all your files, data, passwords, everything you do and say, but also finally manage to eliminate hacks. Does that mean that the battle against cheaters will finally be won? Well, let me introduce you to the IA controllers, external pieces to the PC or console that can interact with peripherals completely undetectably. They are still in the early stages of development since, for now, conventional hacking is more convenient, doesn't require hardware, and serves the same function. But if these ultra-invasive detection systems are perfected, there is no doubt that this will be the next move of hackers, and for a reduced price, you can have access to these automated hardware devices, which, combined with the above and with a camera pointing at the screen, just like your eyes would, will make cheating by AI completely undetectable. And this ultimately has many more implications than, oh, I'll have to live playing with and against AIs, because it could even mean the end of player versus player competitive games. Who would want to strive to learn and improve in a video game if they know that a machine that can imitate them will always be better than them? If the incentives of the base of players who could potentially become professional gamers are attacked, the breeding ground of new pro players is reduced, which will directly affect the competitive scenes that currently move hundreds of millions of dollars a year. But more importantly, it will also harm the total player base of multiplayer games, those who just want to have a good time and enjoy video games. And no one likes playing against hackers, but even less against machines that mimic them and pretend to be people. Could this be the end of the rise of multiplayer games and a return to single-player or cooperative games? Or do you see any solution to this growing problem? Do you think companies will finally manage to control AIs? How much data are you willing to give to China to play Timo? Discover how much value has your data on the black market and how the companies get them in this video.